What's going on, everybody? Doc here, Average Gamer Guys, back again. More Bloomburrow draft action. So we're picking up. We had to shortchange the last one a little bit. I do apologize. Sometimes my recording space gets a little filled up with the different channels that we got going on. So I do apologize. We ran 2 games. We got 1 loss, 1 win this last go. We did do the draft, so if you want to go check that out, pop over there and see how we pulled it. I'm not sure about the deck. The deck is pretty interesting. We got a black-blue, essentially Rats deck again. Pseudo working really around Threshold, which has been good. It's been a good mechanic. We had a really interesting kind of run in our last matches. Don't feel like either one we were really out of. One of the things that we struggled with the first match was essentially bounce removal versus like pure removal. One of the hard things that I think this deck is a little weak on. We have Savor, we have really Scales and Sugarcoat, but that's about the only like true hard removal that we have. Thornplate Intimidator, I guess you could throw into that to help us, really fuel that. If we were stronger there, Vren really came through in the win that we had previously. This was absolutely awesome, and crazy enough, this thing pairs fantastically with Season of Weaving. If we can exile some things, if we can get some creatures dead with Vren on the battlefield and then run Season of Weaving, because this pushes back for the 3 paws, each non-land, non-token permanent, we can really take over, and that would be, pretty cool. So not a bad deck by any means. We have some really cool synergies and some different things that we've been able to do. We are able to draw a decent amount of cards and get through some stuff. So I think just hard removal for us is the tough spot here. And honestly, Storm Chaser's talent is something I've kind of thought about maybe throwing back in. We drafted it for the ability to even return like a Savor or, again, a Scales of Shale. Something along those lines might not be too bad, but that's where we're sitting right now. So we're going to jump in to some additional games. We'll see how we finish up, see if we can get a few more wins. Let's get to it. All right. Opponent on the play, early Bandit's Talent. Nice curve up into 3. We find 1 mana. We do have Sugarcoat and Scales. I'm liking it. I think we can keep it. We got a couple of good options for turn 2 plays, but we can get Bandit's Talent out here very quick. Ooh, we got Patchwork Banner, actually. So if we can find that 3rd mana, we can drop this in for Rats, and our guys will be a little bit bigger. And that might be a challenge for our opponent here. So we'll see what we can do here. All right, beautiful. We found our mana. We're going to Bandit's Talent right off the rip here. Make him discard. There's a world in which next turn we can Island Patchwork Banner, depending on what they play. I'm going to force a discard here. Ooh, Moonrise Cleric. So here's what really hurt us. Here's where I'm scared. And I probably should have played around this a little bit better. And maybe we make some adjustments into the next game. Flying creatures really hurt us. We don't have a lot, and we don't have a lot of good ways to interact besides sending them back to the hand. So we need to look at doing that. Frog Squirrel, put a 1/1 counter. Okay, I'm not too scared about that. Patchwork Banner, call Rats, and then I'm gonna power this up. Again, I am so big on Bandit's Talent. I think this card is freaking amazing. 2/2. That's fine. Not too worried about it. We could just Thoughtstock Warlock here. We have 4 mana available to us. Could also Azure Beastbinder and Thoughtshucker. Maybe we do that. This represents some good blockers, both 2/4 bodies. With Patchwork Banner, these get really good. A Rats deck with Patchwork Banner in it is pretty nice. Then we have the option to go up to 4 here. We could also try to push in some damage. Actually, just try to push in some damage and scales here. Maybe. I can't Thought Stalker Warlock, though. Let's go ahead. Let's attack here. Okay, I like that. What am I most afraid of here? They're a couple of mana away from this, and I can always sugarcoat. Not really too scared about Treeguard Duo here. Why don't I take Drop Cure? Actually, they got that. They could play Treeguard Duo if they want. They can pull the Moonrise Cleric back if they want. Yep, that's pretty good. Make Valley Might Caller something pretty big. That's a 7/7 with Trample. Honestly, I'm going to do that. It soaks up some damage, and it helps my threshold. Actually okay with that. Then I think we keep up. We got a lot of options here. I think I'm good. Let's just try to get some profitable combat is what we're hoping for. Yep, sure. I think we forced this. Okay, we got the mana. I think we can just keep making this guy small. Let's keep punching in for 2. I really need to get to a 6 mana. We got some combat tricks though, with Sugarcoat here. Really the hope here is that they play the Drift Gloom. See what they bring. Goodbye. Oh, that doesn't pull that back. That's really unfortunate. That is not what I would have intended. Not ideal. Not ideal. All right, I think we need some card advantage here. Start taking some damage there. I guess I thought that this was going to lose. It loses all their card types and abilities, but it's not gone. Now, they can't sacrifice it, or else I get my guy back. So that is one thing, I guess. We'll go here. Seems fine. They could bring the stout back, so that makes sense. Basically gets them in an attack. I need a lizard. I think Thornplate Intimidator makes the most sense here. No offspring. Just 3 life, sack a permanent. Or discard a card. Okay. Makes sense, makes sense. We'll hold back for now. I need one more mana. One more mana where we could Tidecaller, we could Pearl. Anything where we could get an opportunity to get a double spell going. That was really a blunder on Driftgloom. As soon as they went to go Driftgloom. Sure. Okay. I actually don't hate that. That's actually pretty fine. So I can Tidecaller and then Scales. Actually, I just Pearl here. Yep, that seems fine. That actually seems really fine. So they can attack into it. If they end up killing it, that actually helps me. Getting cards into the graveyard right now helps me immensely. Now they can bring the Curious Forager back. This is a really interesting matchup. The fact that they Starfalled is actually helpful to me. Curious to see what they bring. What are their options here? Duo, Moonrise Cleric. We got some good options in there. Question is, did they forge the Driftgloom? Nope, they did not. What did they bring back? They're keeping their hand full, which is helpful. Moonrise, I kind of figured that was coming. That's a good one. All right. No attacks. There's 7 mana available. I think what we do here is just Mind Drill. Again, where Moonrise Cleric is going to present some difficult options for us. Do I want to attack? I'm not going to. Sure. All right, here's where we surveil. I almost feel like we attack and then Season of Weaving. And I actually feel like that probably helps me the most. Could always Thought Stalker to bring a lizard back. Could always Tide Caller. Or Wick and Tide Caller here. That makes the snail a 2/2. Presents an interesting block. Mm-hmm. I feel like do I just win here, I guess? I was gonna say. That was an interesting one to navigate. We have double menace creatures. I guess obviously we really don't know what they have in their hand at that point, but essentially what we'd be looking at doing is, I mean, we could always throw the snail. That was an interesting thing. We really needed to get 6 damage in. My plan was basically attack with everything into the Flood Maw, one of their creatures, just like Tree Guard Duo back. I couldn't do Tree Guard Duo. I have to do Curious Forager, I guess. Curious Forager back to their hand. Scales of Shale, something that was unblocked. That gives me the life back to give me the boost. Essentially gets in 2 additional points of damage. So now we're just needing to get in 4. We have 2 menacing 4/4s. That's probably pretty hard to overcome. And then this is getting Threshold becomes a 6/6, which would have been really interesting. So Patchwork Banner with a whole bunch of rats really did pretty good. And again, Bandit's talent here, essentially forcing them to keep cards in their hand. That's really what they did. I am so high on this card. I think it's so freaking good. All right, I am on the play here. Not bad. 2, 3, 4, 4 mana. We'll keep this. A little light on the blue. Give it. Azure Beastbinder. It is turning out to be a very interesting card. Very, very interesting is the words I'm going to use. I don't think he's bad. I think he's pretty good. The fact that he can shut down some cards is really cool. The fact that he has Vigilance is also very cool. 1/3 body, pretty good. See what they do here. I don't think they're too scared about this 1-3, to be honest with you. Yeah, just get this guy out, I guess. Starting to be able to surveil will be good for us. Let's see if they kill it. I had a feeling that was coming. Playing the same deck here. They got a much better removal spell. D-Spider just locks down Wishing Well, which is really interesting. That is exceptionally interesting. Okay, B-Spider, you're a little bit better than I thought. That's pretty freaking cool, actually. That is exceptional. Sure. Sure. Essentially what they're going to do is feed the cycle back up. Sure. Yeah, I guess. Do I sugarcoat this? I think I sugarcoat it. Sure. Got a lot of mana here, so and they got a handful of cards. Fine. I don't want to Flood Maw. 'Cause Hmm. I'm content with that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think Bonebind is fine. They don't have another creature. I dive duo. Okay. This is where I start to get into a tough spot here. I could draw some cards. I could choose an artifact or creature I control and create a token that's a copy of it. I feel like resetting probably isn't a bad idea. Let's just go to combat. It really doesn't matter. We'll pop in for a damage. See, I don't want them. I don't want to give them Thornplate Intimidator is the problem. I think we just refill our hand, maybe. Actually, I think what I do this. Oh, do I just start locking everything down? Oh, that could be really interesting. That's very interesting. Because now I can essentially get in 3 damage per turn. What are you gonna do with a mountain, I wonder? This gets extra interesting. Oh, now we're getting a rat, too. Oh, maybe not. The Wishing Well was smart. Tapping down one of the Azure Beastbinders, though, maybe gets them there. Smart. You got to take out Vren. Very good. Them getting that removal spell is extremely helpful for them. All right, what are the smart blocks here? What are the smart blocks? Or I don't have to. What would I have done actually there? Let's take a look. I am curious because I don't know. So this has Menace. We essentially could take one of the twos. We chump. Or Thornplate Intimidator to Thornplate Intimidator. Chump with the 1/1. That takes care of these two. Gives us 4 blockers left for 4 creatures. And basically Tidecaller or double Azure Beastbinder, Tidecaller here, Azure Beastbinder there. That's probably how I would do it. Right? Both of these in front of that. They can only kill one. This in front of that. Yeah, that would have been fine. That's all dead. That's dead. That's dead. One of these guys would be dead, but I'd be left with Tidecaller and Azure Beastbinder. That'd have been tough. I'd have had to take some time to figure that out, to be honest with you. Just make sure that we weren't missing anything. I should have Thornplate Intimidator first before the attack. I don't know if that would have changed the situation or whatever. But I think it did force some things. Them getting rid of Wishing Well was an interesting. I was locking it down, but they get an opportunity to tick this up to 4. Had they been able to like early winter and then tick this up to 5 to play this again would have been insane. And the other thing I was thinking about was Mind Spiral. I don't want them to get 3 cards, and I definitely wouldn't want them to be able to tap down one of my Azure Beastbinders. This ability to do Season of Weaving and make 2 copies of something is something I've probably overlooked in the first 2 games, so happy with that. All right, we're on to another one. Vren Season Scales. This is a little heavy, this is a little slow. We can Savor though, but Savor into Vren into Savor is really nice. We'll keep 7, we got 3. Definitely are playing a longer game here. If this Breath Elder isn't the card that I would want to see, if I'm being honest. As a 1-drop. Probably take a few pops of damage here. I don't know that I care too much. Man, I really don't want to do the saver before Vren, but I think I have to kill this guy. I can't let him start ripping cliff top lookout back and forth into the hand, making Miss Breath Elder bigger into, you know, ramping into something. I don't have any plays. That's crazy to me. Well, this is probably an inefficient use of mana, but let's make him discard. Are they missing a color here? You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on. Confused. They've got to just have all removal spells. I guess. I don't know, man. I'm so confused right now. Sure. Let's run this out there. See what happens. Okay. Well, that's what they were holding on to. See if they got a pump spell or something to do something with it. Give it... What's that one that gives it hexproof? I could be taking a lot of damage here, so this is what it is. Oh, okay. No combat trick. They could just jam the moose. I gotta go this route, I think. I think I gotta try him. Because I think next turn, honestly, a Season of Weaving, make double copies of Thornplate Intimidators, and then draw a card. And these will be 5/4s. I can double block down on the moose if I need to. Oh. I walked right into that, didn't I? Oops. We're going to take some damage here. They can get rid of my Thornplate Intimidator. I'm in big trouble. Lily Splash Mentor is fantastic. I can always make a copy of Thornplate Intimidator, then return each non-land, non-token permanent to its owner's hand. That's pretty gross. So I could also run away together my own Thornplate Intimidator. As long as I keep the base copies. Scales of Shale will keep us in this, actually, and can present a good combat for us if we want it to. That's like the one thing I couldn't have happen here. It's unfortunate. Now it forces them to hold or give me extra cards, either of which I'm upset about. Got a great board presence. Okay, let's see here. Tidecaller Mentor into Runaway together. There's a lot of power on the board here, but I need to be able to kill Rush Shield Rampager and the Galewind Moose, and I think I can do that. I'm okay with this. They're going to take 2. We get like a swing out here. There's some situations with some combat. Okay. That was pretty good. I can return... Okay. Feel like we're still all right. We got Tide-Colored Mentor run away together still. They're not really threatening here. I want this thing dead and off the battlefield. That helps me immensely. I think I can do all these. There's nothing threatening at this point. Let's get this guy onto the field. He's a big body. I have no reason not to attack with this. Yeah, we'll get rid of 2 blockers. That helps us. That's smart. Let's draw a card. 3 forages. That's good. Good play, good play. And then I could just run away together. I literally was just going to clear the field via threshold. We were sitting on these, these are so good. I love Tide-Colored Mentor. The fact that we have 3 of them is pretty insane. And once we could get to threshold, that was pretty good. I am actually really liking Season of Weaving for some of the creatures that we have, right? Because there's a world in which we could do that for Tide-Colored Mentor and bounce a whole bunch of stuff, get 2 copies, just basically clear their board. Azure Beastbinder, we saw how effective it was to being able to do that as well. Patchwork Banner with these rats has been really nice. I am upset to see I haven't really been able to queue in Wick. I would have liked to see this guy get big and then throw some damage. That'd be really cool, but being able to do Thornplate Intimidator twice, that was the difference maker, I think, in this game, with being able to allow us to stabilize. And then also drawing the card, obviously, for blue is really, really good. Haven't been able to really see Ren, like, keep its feet under it for a little bit and kill some things, but overall, pretty good. Pretty good. All right, I'm on the play here. I'm going to very poorly keep this. If I find a black mana, I feel like we're in business. Very poorly keep this. Ooh, they think they're going down to 6. Not ideal, but they help us. I need them to get to a slow start unless we just rip a swamp here on our first draw, which would be so good. It's alright, we can Thought Shucker. Hello. Alright. If I lost life this turn, I'm going to attempt to not do that. I'm probably thinking, what is this guy playing? Mono blue? No, I'm just an idiot. Yeah, sure. You gonna waste a combat trick? I love this card. I love this card so very much. The most. I'm gonna power it up. I'm gonna power it up because there's no reason next turn I don't rip off the 4, right? I want them to be scared to play things from their hand because that plays to my advantage immensely. They gonna kill my Patchwork Banner? I hope they don't. That's unfortunate. Play your Fireglass Mentor. Play something else. Please play something else. Sure. I'm gonna lose 2 life because of that. Hmm. We are not finding much gas here. I think end of this turn I Mudflat Village to get Tight-Colored Mentor back. I think a 4/4 is going to be really tough for them to deal with. Sure. Can give it Menace, that's fine. Ow. Well, now I get 2 cards. So thank you for that. You're going to lose 2 life. You can give this Menace if you like. And I'm going to make my guy indestructible. And have lifelink. So thank you for the 6 life back. Oh my god, please stop with the... Are you freaking serious? Oh my god. I have drawn so many lands. Sure. I can't believe I've been drawn this many lands. You'll take 2. Bandit's Talent. I'm telling you, this card is freaking amazing. What is this? When it enters attacks, exile top X card your library. X is the number of creatures you control power 4 or greater, which is none. You play those cards until your end step. At the beginning of your next end step, deals 2 damage to each opponent for each of those cards that are still exiled. So he's gonna get 1 out of this? Yeah. Yep. Okay. That seems good. That's really good. That guy's really good. And it's Scales of Shale, which he cannot play. Sorry, bud. You're dead this turn. Not a whole lot you can do about it. You can double block. I'll kill both. You take 4, 5, 6, 2 from Bandit's Talent. Game over. that was fun. That was fun. The deck came together very nicely. This came together very nicely. Just a good trading of initial resources. This is where I think, again, this deck gets probably 5x better if we have an extra saver or a feed the cycle or a few other removal spells. Into the Flood Maw I've actually been really happy with for 1 mana. A lot of people don't see that coming, so it's a nice combat trick, but to be able to actually just pure kill, if we had a, like I said, a Nocturnal Hunger, I think would be great. Another saver would be really, really good, or a feed the cycle could work out nicely for us. All right, so we're getting to that point where, again, my recording space is getting a little limited. So we took that first loss early in the first episode of this deck, and since then we have rattled off consecutive wins. Basically, I think you've seen every game that we've played up to this point. So I am unfortunately going to leave you here. I will probably be playing these games right now and just finishing out this deck. Surprisingly, it's held up very, very well. I'm not surprised with the rat type archetype synergies. That part has actually gone really, really good. If we can get to the mid game, a lot of instances, especially with a card like Season of Weaving and being able to duplicate some of our creatures, has been fantastic. That has really pushed this over the edge. I've been lucky enough to see Patchwork Banner in many, many of the matches, and that was critical to making sure that the bodies on these rats could sustain and actually be effective in combat. It's great. This card is fantastic, but the fact that we could just click rat every time, and then things like Tidecaller Mentor, which are already good menace 3/3s for 3, with the additional boost for Threshold coming in, makes them 4/4s. Just really put this over the top. It makes things like Azure Beastbinder a little bit more effective. Thought Chucker as well. Just a much, much better blocker. Sugarcoat, I've really enjoyed. Scales we've used really, really efficiently. Bandit's Talent, still the freaking MVP. There is not a world in which I play a black deck going forward where if this comes across, I don't play it. This card, I feel like, just makes such tough decisions. And then when you can build a board presence like that last game we just showcased, when you can build a board presence, you force them to just have to play. They just have to play the things in their hand because the things that are on the board are scarier or more impactful than the 2 damage you're going to take. But I think this right here in that last match probably cost the opponent 6, maybe 8 life. When it gets up and running, and then on top of it, when you can get it to level 3 and just be ripping that extra card each time, we essentially drew through what would have been an additional 2 draw steps. We drew through that with Bandit's Talent and then continued to find gas and then just rolled from there. So this card is just so fantastic. I love it. It's probably one of my favorite cards in the entire set. And especially in black, it is a very, very high pick for us. We really haven't been able to see Wick get up and running here. It's made the rat or the snail tokens a couple of times, but it gets pretty well instant targeted. What's interesting is that we have thrown this in here without the... Really, I did not expect to be able to sacrifice the snail. I think every time I've played Wick, I've had Patchwork Banner that could create the mana to be able to do this. So it's like an instant target. And I think I've been able to play it a handful of times and then either the same turn or the next turn drop a rat and make the snail a little bit bigger, which is pretty cool. I would like to throw this. I'm gonna attempt to throw the snail at least once. Here's what I gotta realize: even just playing this and then same turn, if it's later into the match, and I have the extra 3 mana, just throwing it, even if it's a 1/1, makes it so that I deal a damage, which is not nothing, but also makes it so that I get to draw cards equal to that snail's power, which is pretty cool. Just pretty cool. So. Wick would also be really interesting with the changelings. Now that I'm realizing this. That could be interesting. Maybe I rip Long River Lurker out for 3-tree Mascot and see if we can't 3-tree Mascot into Wick. And then this would be every creature type. So I could... It's a snail. Then I'm throwing this for 2 damage and drawing 2 cards. That's not bad. That's not bad. You get an early pick Wick. You could go Wick into a whole bunch of changeling creatures and have yourself some fun. So I hope you enjoyed. I'll let you know probably in the post edits of this and flash something at some point how we ended up doing. But happy with a 5-1 start here. And we're got a loss to give and 2 wins to go. So we'll see if we can't pull ourselves another trophy. Hopefully, again, you enjoyed. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing. Trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. That's our first big milestone, so we really appreciate it. If you enjoy pack openings, we do that every Wednesday. Sometimes filter them in through the week. We have a good stockpile of videos already recorded, ready to get up. We're excitedly waiting for Dustmorn to see how that goes, but I'm going to enjoy lots of Bloomburrow until we get there. So look out for more sealed, look out for more draft. We'll definitely continue to be doing this and just having some fun. And again, just thanks to the comments. Thanks for all that stuff. Links in the description. You want to check anything out. Got a Discord. We got a Magic the Gathering channel over there. Just trying to get that up and running. Post your cool pools. Post any fun board states or anything that you have. And just appreciate you joining the community. We have some other channels as well if you want to go check those out. Again, links in the description. We'd appreciate some love over there as well. We'll be sure to catch you in the next one. Peace.